The 1930s and 40s New York Yankees was a force to be reckoned with. The individual power and dominance from the likes of Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Frank Crossetti, Bill Dickey, Red Rolfe, and Joe Gordon was undeniable. But like with any team, you need those foundational players who bring the strong backbone, ready support, and consistency that wins championships. And certainly, the Yankees had some of the best of those players as well, including one we're spotlighting today, Tommy Henrich. He was nicknamed Old Reliable by Yankees broadcaster Mel Allen after the Louisville-Nashville Railroad that once ran from Ohio to Alabama, because of the railroad's reputation of having dependable and steadfast service. In comparison, Tommy had an incredible knack of getting a hit just when it was needed and performing best in the clutch. Tommy was certainly part of the backbone of this Yankee squad, and their championships in this era prove it. So join us today as we showcase Tommy Henrich, who was also the last surviving teammate of Lou Gehrig. We'll share highlights of his life and career, as well as a special segment on his hometown of Massillon, Ohio, where a local artist has kept Tommy's legacy alive and well. So keep it right here. You won't want to miss a minute of this, right here on History and Relics. Thomas David Henrich was born on February 20th, 1913 in Massillon, Ohio. His parents were Edward M. Henrich and Mary Elizabeth Dressler. Tommy's father was a plastering contractor, while his mother was a homemaker. Tommy was one of 6 children. He had 4 brothers and a sister. The Henrichs were active in St. Mary's Catholic Church, and young Tommy attended the parish school. Massillon was pretty much a football city, but Henrich's parents considered football too violent and frowned upon Tommy playing the sport. Instead, Tommy became captivated by baseball. However, there were no baseball teams in Massillon, but rather only softball. In fact, for much of his big league career, he claimed his birth year was 1916 to compensate for his lack of playing baseball during his youth. He graduated from St. John's Catholic High School in nearby Canton in 1933. After graduating from high school, Henrich played baseball for the semi-pro Prince Horn and Acme Dairy teams that drew the attention of Billy Doyle, a Detroit Tiger scout. The Tigers offered him a contract, but he chose to continue playing in the semi-pros while earning a paycheck as a clerk in a local steel mill. In November 1933, Henrich was signed by the Cleveland Indians after catching the attention of scout Bill Bradley, who once played for the Indians himself in the early 1900s. Then called the Cleveland Naps. He spent the following summer with the Monessen Indians in the Class D Pennsylvania State Association, where he hit .326 in 104 games. He also played for the Zanesville Grays in the Class C Middle Atlantic League and finished up with the New Orleans Pelicans in the Class A Southern Association in 1936, with a batting average of .346, 15 home runs, 100 RBIs, and 117 runs scored. Tommy thought that his performance in the Southern Association would have earned him a spring training invite with the 1937 Indians. However, he was ordered to report to the minor league Milwaukee Brewers in the American Association. Baffled by this decision, he decided to write a letter to Kennesaw Mountain Landis, the baseball commissioner, to state his case of feeling unjustly treated by the Indians. The commissioner responded by declaring that the Indians were not offering Henrich a fair shot at making the club. Furthermore, Landis ruled Henrich a free agent who could sign with any major league organization of his choosing. On April 14, 1937, Henrich was freed of his obligation to Cleveland. From there, over half the big league organizations expressed interest in him. The New York Giants' Bill Terry told the press he would pay $15,000 for Henrich's services. However, Henrich had long been a fan of the New York Yankees. He was enamored with the Yanks dating back to the 1920s when they acquired his favorite player, Babe Ruth. Well, after about a week of being a free agent and hearing from the Giants, Henrich signed with the Yankees, earning a bonus that was reported to be between $20,000 and $25,000. The Yankees assigned Henrich to the International League Newark Bears, their top farm club. However, things would quickly change as within 1 month into the 1937 season, the Yankees lost 2 in a row to the Tigers. Outfielder Roy Johnson, who had just joined the Yanks from the Red Sox in 1936, thought that manager Joe McCarthy was grumbling a bit too much over the losses and quipped, "What's the guy expect to do? Win every day?" Well, in a horrible stroke of luck, McCarthy happened to overhear him. Almost as soon as he returned to the team hotel, McCarthy called general manager Ed Barrow and demanded that Johnson be waived immediately. The deed was done, thus making room for Tommy to be called up and placed on the roster. Tommy made his big league debut on May the 11th, 1937. Batting 7th in the Yankees lineup, he doubled in 4 at-bats against Chicago White Sox hurler Monty Stratton. Then on May 16th, playing against the Philadelphia Athletics, Tommy, now batting 3rd in the lineup, belted his first home run, along with a triple and a single. The 4-bagger came in the 6th inning off A's starter George Castor. Henrich appeared in 67 games in 1937 and had a .320 batting average, 14 doubles, 5 triples, 8 home runs, and 42 RBIs. The only downside was a left knee injury, but upon signing his new contract and before the start of spring training in 1938, he advised Ed Barrow and those around him that he would be just fine and would see everyone in St. Petersburg, Florida. And that he did. Spring training in 1938 was starting off well for Tommy. He even worked out at first base, which started rumors that he might eventually replace Lou Gehrig as the team's first baseman. Tommy's consistent play won him respect among his teammates and coaches. However, when the Iron Horse finally benched himself on May 2, 1939, that ended his streak of 2,130 consecutive games, and he was replaced by Babe Dahlgren, not Henrich. It was decided that Henrich was too valuable to the Yankees as an outfielder. In September 1940, Tommy sustained yet another knee injury. However, he recovered just fine after meeting his bride-to-be, Eileen Patricia O'Reilly, who was his nurse and attended to his knee while being hospitalized. The pair were married on July 7, 1941. The Henrichs later had 5 children, 3 daughters, Patricia, Anne, and Mary Louise, and 2 sons, Tom and Paul. Henrich played a significant role in keeping Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak alive in 1941. On June 26th, the 38th game of the streak, the Yankee Clipper was still hitless as the team came to bat in the last of the 8th inning, holding a lead against the St. Louis Browns. DiMaggio was due up in the 4th inning, with Henrich scheduled right before him. With 1 out and Rolfe on first, McCarthy ordered Henrich to bunt to avoid a possible ground ball double play, and not allowing his teammate a final at bat. Henrich, though, was thrown out, but Rolfe took second. DiMaggio slammed Eldon Auker's first pitch for a double, and the streak remained intact. But on July 17, 1941, Joltin' Joe's history-making 56-game hitting streak came to a close in the glove of Ken Keltner of the Cleveland Indians. By now, Yankees broadcaster Mel Allen had begun calling Henrich Old Reliable, after the Louisville-Nashville Railroad that once ran from Ohio to Alabama, due to it being celebrated for always being on time, and well, reliable. Henrich was like a clock in that regard, right on time with his performances, and with a propensity for always hitting in the clutch. We mentioned one of Tommy's teammates earlier who also helped to keep Joe DiMaggio's hit streak alive in 1941. Robert "Red" Rolfe. Rolfe was good friends with Henrich. In fact, sometime between 1938 and 1942, Red gave Tommy one of his game-used bats. This beauty right here, that exhibits several ball and cleat marks, green bat rack streaks, a healthy coating of pine tar along with a repaired crack. This was authenticated by John Tobby of PSA DNA Authentication Services as game used by Red and scored it a near-perfect 9.5 out of 10. This also came with a letter of provenance directly from Tommy in 2004. Upon the United States entry into World War II, Henrich was one of the scorers of big leaguers who went into the military. On August 30th, 1942, and the year in which he made his first of 5 American League All-Star teams, he joined the U.S. Coast Guard. He was assigned to the service's physical fitness programs in Buffalo, New York, as a specialist first class, and later spent time attached to a training station in Michigan, where he played baseball for military teams. On September 29, 1945, Henrich completed his Coast Guard duty and rejoined the Yankees the following season. His batting average in 1946 sank to .251, but the slump was temporary as he raised his average to .287 and .308 in 1947 and 1948. Additionally, he was an American League All-Star each season from 1947 to 1950. During this time, he displayed his versatility and athleticism by occasionally manning first base. By the end of the decade, he was a respected, hard-nosed veteran who readily criticized teammates who were not playing as hard as they could or were making careless errors. Casey Stengel, who took over as the team's manager in 1949, complimented Henrich on his on-field proficiency. Now, Henrich never was the captain of the Yankees, but the other players just gravitated to him as their natural leader. He was the captain in fact, if not in name. Henrich appeared in 4 World Series as a player: 1938, 41, 47, and 49. On 3 occasions, he played significant roles in deciding final scores, and in each of the last 3 series, the Yankees were pitted against the Brooklyn Dodgers. By the late 1940s, injuries were starting to take their toll on Tommy. In 1949, he fractured the transverse vertebrae in his back, broke his toe, and played in just 115 games. In April 1950, he flew to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore to seek treatment for the left knee that had been bothering him since he was a rookie. His physician, Dr. George Bennett, informed him that he needed knee surgery, but could not promise that the operation would allow him to continue playing ball. Henrich refused to have the surgery, and after playing in only 73 games in 1950, announced his retirement as a player on December 18th. In the 11 seasons he spent with the Yankees, Henrich appeared in 1,284 games, compiling a .282 batting average and 183 home runs. His highest home run total was 31 in 1941, third best in the American League. In 1948, he tied a league record by belting 4 grand slams, led the league in triples, runs scored, extra base hits, and was second in doubles and total bases. In 1949, he was third in the American League in slugging percentage and tied for third in home runs. He finished 6th in the MVP race in both 1948 and 1949. After retiring as an active player, Henrich turned down an offer by George Weiss, the Yankees general manager, to manage in the team's minor league system. Stories circulated that he would join Mel Allen in the team's broadcast booth, but instead he served as the Yankees coach during the 1951 season. His duties included mentoring 19-year-old rookie sensation Mickey Mantle, who took the Yanks to the World Series and where Tommy received his 5th World Series ring. In 1954, Henrich left broadcasting to become president of the Red Top Brewery in Cincinnati. By that time, he also owned beer distributorships in 2 New Jersey counties. He resigned from Red Top in February 1956 and returned to the New York area. He was then a commentator for New York Giants football broadcast when, that November, he became the New York Giants baseball third base coach. At the conclusion of the 1957 season, with the Giants moving to San Francisco, Henrich joined the Detroit Tigers as a batting instructor and first base coach. He spent the 1958 and 59 seasons with the Tigers and then was released from his contract. In 1968, Tommy had one last fling in professional baseball as the Kansas City Royals minor league hitting instructor. He also scouted for the team and worked in public relations for Diebold, an Ohio-based manufacturer of bank and security equipment. His outside business interests included his beer distributorships and the ownership of the Diamond Room, a Columbus, Ohio nightclub. Tommy played piano, regularly attended church, and sang in his church choir. He was active in the Masillon chapter of the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America, and in 1946 sang with the Ohio State Championship Barbershop Foursome. Tommy lived in Arizona during the 1980s and 90s, and then returned to his home state of Ohio. In his later years, he suffered a series of strokes. He died at the age of 96 on December 1st, 2009, at his home in Beaver Creek, Ohio, just outside of Dayton. Tommy's wife, Eileen, had passed away earlier that same year on her birthday, on March 4th. Tommy and his wife are buried at the Dayton National Cemetery in Dayton, Ohio, and we had a chance to visit this breathtaking cemetery and see the Henrich's gravesite. Let us share with you now that visit. At the time of Tommy's passing, he was the oldest living Yankee and Lou Gehrig's final surviving teammate. Since his passing, his legacy remains large in his hometown of Massillon, Ohio. In fact, as you drive along Route 21, you'll come upon a large mural of Tommy Henrich painted on the west wall of the Elam Music Building located on Tommy Henrich Drive Northwest. The mural was fantastically created by local artist and operations officer of the Massillon Museum, Scott Phillips. We had an opportunity to stop in and meet Scott and learn about this grand tribute. Take a listen. Hi, Scott.
Hi, John.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
This is a pleasure. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. I'm glad to do it.
So you're the artist who painted the mural and the architect behind this wonderful mural back here. So can you tell us something about how this got started and your inspiration for this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we painted this. It was actually my wife and I and some of our friends. I believe that was back in that must have been 2012, 2013 we painted this. We did it for the Elam Music Company, and they're big Yankees fans, so they love Tommy Henrich. It was actually funny to, in Massillon, Ohio, where most people are Indians fans, to paint a big Yankees logo on the side of a building. But yeah, so we were approached by that family, the Elam family. We actually had done a few other murals in the area. We did a Paul Brown mural, Lillian Gish mural. So it was actually kind of our first endeavors into the murals were those projects.
Okay.
So they saw them. There's actually one right across the street over here, and they were really impressed. They had always wanted a mural of Tommy Henrich.
Okay.
They just hadn't pursued it yet.
Okay.
So then when they saw that, they approached us and said, "Hey, would you like to do one of Tommy Henrich?"
Wow.
And I said, "Absolutely." That was early on in our career, my wife and I's career, with our mural company. So we were a bit intimidated by it's 18 feet high by 63 feet wide. When we first saw it, it was all brick. It was before it was stuccoed, so it was a flat surface. So we were a bit intimidated, but we took on the project. We were super, super excited. There are murals in Masillon, so I think there's an excitement when another one goes up.
Yeah.
So it was very cool to kind of be part of that.
Absolutely.
And it was a great project. They were amazing to work with. Anything I needed, that I remember George Elam specifically. We were out here and it was 100 degrees out. He's like, "What do you want?" And I said, "How about some Gatorade?" He went in there and he brought a case. I'm talking a case of Gatorade. So we put it in our painting van and we had Gatorade for the rest of the project. But
wow.
It's great to work with awesome people, and
Absolutely.
The community has embraced it, and I hear about it all the time, and it's so cool to be part of that project. I think that's what makes Massillon in our area great, is just the collaborations we have between people.
Now, Tommy is originally from Massillon, Ohio. He lived here, probably went back and forth to New York as he played for the Yankees. And as I understand, a couple of the family members, or some of the family members, also knew about this project and kind of came down and seen it for themselves as well. So that was really nice.
Yeah, we actually had representation of the family at the dedication that we had, which was very, very cool. Museum brought some archives of actually from his career, a game-worn jersey, and there were some other archives. And it was just a whole cool collaboration. Yeah, support from the family, from the company that had me do it, the museum.
Yes.
So it was just such a cool experience.
Now, is the jersey still in the museum or here at the museum?
Yes, at the Masillon Museum. So actually, that's where I work full time as well, at the Masillon Museum as the operations officer. So
oh wow, okay.
I do the mural company and the museum, so I keep myself very busy.
Now, is that nearby here?
Yes, the Masillon Museum is actually on Lincoln Way.
Okay.
It's on 121 Lincoln Way East.
Okay.
So if you are downtown Masillon, it's right on the corner of First Street and Lincoln Way.
All right.
So we're actually one of the only green spaces in downtown Masillon. So you see a green space, a big black clock. That is the museum's front yard.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been there for a while, and it's an amazing place.
Oh, great. Definitely have to check that out.
Yeah.
Hey, so the next question I have for you is, what's your background in art? Did you go to school, or are you self-taught, or how did that all come about? How did the mural business come about?
So I actually did go to school. I went for art history, and then I had a minor in fine art. I went to Kent State University. So yeah, I love Kent, and so it was really cool. I grew up always being artistic. My dad is definitely artistic.
Okay.
I grew up a lot with my grandmother as well. And when I was a kid, it was kind of one of those things where, I had toys, that sort of thing, but she would always say, you can make that, you can do that. So I was always drawing something, or I was always making something if I wanted to play with a specific toy. So I was always creating then.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of lit the spark for me.
Okay.
But then, yeah, as I grew up, it's funny, I say it now, I took classes at the Masillon Museum when I was a kid. I remember my dad taking me to painting classes. So it's very cool now to, be painting murals and also work at the Masillon Museum.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so then
What a great opportunity.
Yeah, and I also get the opportunity then to, share that with the community and, with our classes and with the murals that we do. And, I'm always trying to integrate that with community, activities and programs.
What's your next project? You got one slated to come down the pike?
Well, tentatively, I have been talking to the Akron Civic Theater. So there's a project that they have that I've kind of been back and forth with proposals on. So we think that might work out, but it's not completely finalized, but I'm really excited about that prospect. But I've got a handful of other businesses that I'm doing things for too. I do a lot of sign painting and logo work for for local businesses.
Nice.
So I know that's kind of coming back as far as the hand-painted, signs and stuff. So we definitely keep ourselves busy.
Any contact from the Cleveland Indians to paint any of the former past players there at all?
No, but I would absolutely love to do that.
Oh, I bet. I mean, this is phenomenal work.
I appreciate that. Thank you, John.
Fabulous.
Thank you, John. Yeah, that's one of my fondest memories too. Back in the '90s, when the Indians were really, really powerful team. My dad was always taking me up there. So, gosh, that would be great. Maybe somebody will watch this and get a phone call.
And that's why everybody should try to get out to Massillon, Ohio. It's a great community. It's a great location. Come see Scott at the museum here in Massillon. Come see the Tommy Henrich mural. You will not be disappointed at all. Scott, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Take care.
Yep.
Thanks again, Scott, for meeting with us and sharing with us your story. For more information on the Massillon Museum, here is all their contact information, including hours of operation, address, phone, and website information. Admission is free for all ages, but they certainly appreciate any and all donations. So be sure to visit soon.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed our program. If you like our content, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It costs nothing but means a lot to us and keeps us growing. You may also leave us a tip if you choose. A link is provided here on your screen as well as in the description area below. And until next time, everyone, this one is history.